Good afternoon and welcome to Batterdays in the Batcave. I am OmniDog with my co-host Taylor Brown. Taylor, how's it going?
I'm doing great, and I'm really excited to talk about some Batman-related books.
Bat Family books, our favorite Bat Family reads, which I think is a great topic that you came up with because there's a lot of really good Bat Family reads. He is an excellent character that has lots of I don't know, ancillary reads, or maybe that's I'm going to go with that because it's a big word.
Sounds
So
good to me.
okay, good. So there's lots of reads that bounce off Batman that are really good. And but first we want to talk about something we both got in the mail. I got mine today, but I don't know when you got yours. I got mine today and you got yours. You're going to open it.
Yes,
And
I
show
just got
everybody
mine.
what we got.
I was really
Batman
excited.
Beyond.
I was really excited because my pre-order said it was showing up on Thursday, even though it came out today. And so my wife said a white delivery van just like creeped up in our driveway and dropped something off. And I was like, oh, Batman Beyond. So I ran out, and that's what it was. And I'm so excited to get this in. I was able to convince Jess to buy this, even though he hasn't watched his Batman animated series Blu-ray yet.
That you also super baited me on. You also got me to buy.
So guys, if you could do me a big favor in the comments, badger Jess into watching Batman the animated series because he needs to watch it.
I'm not watching it. I just haven't had the time yet to watch it, but I will. I know I want to. It's, Mask of the Phantasm was awesome, so I really want to watch it. So you don't need to badger me. I just need to. I want to watch it.
And this not just comes with the original show, it comes with an amazing animated movie, The Return of the Joker, that has Mark Hamill, and it shows how the Joker comes back in the future. And it is creepy. It's one of the better Batman movies. I think Tyler Blunt said it's his favorite Batman movie. So if that makes you want to watch this even more. And so I should probably explain my name that I have right here. Anyway,
funny.
Me and Jess have been saying each other cheesecake jokes for the past week because was it your haul video for Baltimore Con?
Yeah.
You said, I'm going to show the good stuff now because after 5 minutes, you're probably like, I'm going to go eat some cheesecake or whatever. And that just made me laugh. It's like the most random reason someone would leave a video. So I'd rather be eating cheesecake right now. So
right.
All right. So I'm going to open it up right now and see what we have here.
Yeah, open it up now. He's opening it up now before you guys blow us off and go eat cheesecake.
Right. All right. Oh, this looks nice. This is the first time I've opened it. So it comes with a Funko Pop of Terry McGinnis.
Oh, it comes in a box itself. That's
cool.
Really
nice. Ooh, that's a cool box. I was telling Jess before the show started that the Batman animated series came with 2 Funko Pops, but they look so stupid. They were like miniature Funko Pop that weren't good quality. So it looks like they remedied that with this box, which I'm really thankful for.
That is a cool pop box.
Oh, and it comes with some lenticular postcards or whatever.
Oh, cool.
So if I can get this open.
There's some good swag in this box.
Oh, yeah. This is why you get these special editions before they release the inevitable regular edition. So I think you have the regular edition for Batman, right? The animated series?
I did not get the stupid little pops. Oh, okay.
Say stuff like that.
Is that what you're referring to? The stupid little pops that came in the
no,
the
like
special edition?
No, these also, the special edition for Batman animated series also had these like lenticular.
Oh stuff. Yeah, no, I didn't get that. I think I just got regular Blu-rays.
And here's the regular box set.
Cool.
Oh, one of the discs fell out.
Uh-oh.
Maybe we should check this before I opened it. All right. It's one of those ones where they're kind of stacked on top. All right, it went back in. That happens sometimes whenever you get these. Like the discs aren't fully in, which doesn't really make sense to me. But it looks really
I
cool.
see. Look at that. Okay.
That's a picture from the opening credits of him driving the Batmobile, which it's more of a hovercraft than a Batmobile, which is really cool. So Jess, you're really in for a treat. I think this show came out when I was 8 or 9 years old. So I've really grown up with this show and I have a fondness for it, but I've watched it recently. It still holds up.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a really good show. It's about many years in the future where Bruce Wayne has to retire because he just can't be Batman anymore. And so
Is Kevin Conroy still Bruce Wayne?
Yes, he is, of course.
He's just an old, gravelly voice Bruce Wayne.
Right. He's like in his 80s.
Okay.
They show him like in his like late 50s and why he has to quit being Batman. What's the event that precipitated this decision? And then it jumps back into the future again to when he's really old. And there's a young teenager named Terry McGinnis who becomes the new Batman. And Bruce becomes like his Alfred in a way. Like he's like, the guy in the Batcave giving him advice, telling him what to do. And it's a really great continuation of Batman the Animated Series, but it's also kind of depressing to see where Bruce's life ends up, to see where this life of crime fighting leads, because it leads to a life of loneliness. That his choice to be Batman ultimately is a sacrifice to give up happiness in some way. So it's also kind of sad in a way as well, even though it's exciting and fun. And it leads to a lot of good episodes about Bruce. So I think you'll be really satisfied with it whenever you watch it.
Okay, good.
So if you haven't bought the Blu-ray yet, I would encourage you to do it as soon as possible because the limited edition did sell out for Batman the Animated Series. So I would get that as soon as you possibly can. It's pretty cheap right now. I think it's around $60, which may not sound cheap, but it's better than the $90 or $100 that it could go for. So Batman Beyond, the Blu-ray set, I would encourage you to pick it up. And hopefully your Blu-ray doesn't fall out whenever you open it up. It should be okay. I send things back to Amazon all the time because they stink.
Yeah, this actually came in a pretty nice box that conformed to the box itself. So it didn't. I mean, Amazon did a good job to me packing it. So it was in a really tight box, so nothing could break in it or anything.
That's true. Usually, Amazon is not known for its good packaging.
Correct.
Well, there's one other thing I want to do before we start off our topic. I just want to give Jess a quick shout out for giving me these books.
Oh, no problem.
For Baltimore Comic Con, he actually had these signed and personalized by Peter Tomasi, the Batman Arkham Knight prequel series. And I really do appreciate these, Jess. These are awesome.
Sure. I was happy to do it.
I love his personal signatures or his messages. So the mirroring messes me up here.
Yeah.
Where he says, Taylor, congrats on your new Robin. That was really cool. And then he said on this one, good luck on Baturdays in the Batcave, even though he spelled it wrong.
I know. I wasn't going to correct him, though.
I thought that was funny. I thought it was funny. And then the last one, he put, make some room in the Batmobile for the baby seat. I just thought that was really cool, personalized messages. The
first two I told him, and that was his ad lib. That last one. Yeah.
Oh, and the reason why he says the car seat and the new Robin is that my son was born a week and a half ago. So that's what that's in reference to. So
I had to get you a baby gift, and I thought that would be perfect because I knew you hadn't read those books. So
no, I hadn't. And those of you who don't know, Peter Tomasi is my favorite Batman writer of all time. So that's why those books mean so much to me. And I really do appreciate that, Jess. You're a great co-host, and you're an even better friend.
Awesome. Good. Thank you. I'm glad it worked out.
This should be our last pre-recorded show for a while. My life's been kind of crazy with the baby coming, and I know Jess was at Baltimore 2 weeks ago. But in 2 weeks, we should be back with a very special live show with a very special guest. So we'll keep you up to date about that.
Okay. A special live guest.
You know who it is.
Is that our teenage?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I better read that book.
Yeah, we're hoping to have Tyler Blunt on in 2 weeks to talk about the Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle crossover books.
I don't own that book, so I better get it.
I'm going to get it on Hoopla. It's on
you
Hoopla.
are? Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
so Tyler Blunt, we're crossing the streams with OmniDog and T-Bone with Batteries in the Batcave. It's going to be the best crossover you've ever seen.
Right on, man.
It's going to be awkward. Taylor Brown, Tyler Blunt.
I know. I'm going to have trouble with that.
There was a guy in the Omnibus group, I think it was Raph, who said, I've been confusing you both for like a long time. I thought Tyler was Taylor and Taylor was Tyler. So it's going to be, we're going to have to call him T-Bone or something on the show.
We will.
Not too confused.
Yeah.
All right, now we're going to jump into our main topic, which is our favorite Bat family books. And so this can be taken in one of two ways. Books that focus on the extended family and Bruce as a family man, or books that focus on a particular character that's not Bruce, like Nightwing, Batgirl, Batwoman, Robin.
I just changed my I just changed a pick. I'll be
Okay.
right back.
All right.
You go with keep going, and
All right.
I'm going to come back with my.
I'll start with my first one. All right. So this is no surprise. I just told you that Peter Tomasi is my favorite Batman writer. My first pick is Batman and Robin by Peter Tomasi and Patrick Gleason. This is the first volume, Born to Kill. And by the way, if you haven't read Peter Tomasi's new detective run, that first hardcover that just came out, Mythology, pick that up as soon as possible. It is my current mission in life to tell people how great Batman Mythology is. So please pick that up. I feel like not enough people are talking about it. I feel like we're the only people on YouTube who even have a review of that book. So pick that book up because it's amazing. I was just telling the audience, Jess, that my first pick is Batman and Robin by Tomasi.
Okay.
So, like I said, Tomasi is my favorite Batman writer. I love Snyder. I love King. But in my opinion, I think Tomasi is the most consistent, and he has a deep understanding for who Bruce is. He has a great job of delving into his psyche and just exploring the complex relationship between Bruce and Damian and Batman and Robin. And like I already said, this book is mainly drawn by one of my favorite artists, Patrick Gleason.
Oh yeah.
I think he is amazing. And like his work with Tomasi on Superman Rebirth is another level.
Yeah.
That is such a great book. I'm trying to find a really cool page here that really just shows you how amazing this run is. Let's see what we got here. But I think Gleason's over at Marvel right now. I think he's doing Spider-Man right now.
I think so. Here, wait, let me highlight you.
But Gleason is just great at drawing shadow. He's great at using the darkness to accomplish what they're trying to do in the story. He is such a phenomenal artist. And this is a very controversial opinion, but Damian is my favorite Robin.
What the hell?
Well, let me tell you why. Because I associate Dick Grayson more with Nightwing than Robin at this point. I love Dick Grayson, but I don't really think of him as Robin very much because I've mainly read him as Nightwing because I more read like post-Crisis. I don't really read before then. And so he's been Nightwing for so long, I don't really think about it that much to some degree. And Jason Todd, he always just got on my nerves. He was like
Me too.
He was gratingly douchey. And I just didn't like him as Robin. Obviously, a lot of people didn't because they voted to kill him. And then Tim Drake, he's good. I just haven't read enough of Tim Drake to really think that much of him because I'm not a big 90s comics guy. And that was Tim Drake's heyday. So, yes, I can understand why people don't like Damon. He kind of starts out as being a really annoying, snot-nosed punk with a big chip on his shoulder. But there's a good reason for why he is that way. I mean, think about it. He was raised to be an unstoppable one-boy army.
Think of who his mom was.
Right, Talia al Ghul. He was bred to be what she says, the next Alexander, to take over the world.
Yeah.
There's a reason why he's so brash, he's so cocky, he's so violent. He was raised to be that way. And this book is a great exploration of the controversial debate of nature versus nurture. Are we the way that we are because of our DNA or because of how we're raised? And Batman just wants to train Damian to be the best version of himself that he possibly can be, to let go of his anger, to let go of his rage, and to help people for the sake of helping them, not just trying to get out his rage by beating people up and destroying them.
Right.
And he really needs mentoring from Bruce, from Dick, and especially Alfred, who I think is the most underrated Batman family member. That without Alfred, I don't think Batman would work. I don't think Batman would be as popular as he is without Alfred because you need to have that voice who's pulling him back from the darkness and calling him to be a human being. Alfred is so integral to who Bruce is. And I think he needs to have more books that focus on him as a character.
That's a good idea.
They are doing an Alfred TV show right now, which I'm not super excited about. I mean, like I said, I like Alfred, but I'm not sure if I want to really have a whole TV show about him. But I would like to have more of an arc that kind of delves more into his past. They kind of did that with the first Ally, which was the third hardcover of the All-Star Batman run by Snyder, which you don't really enjoy. But that was probably the best part of that run. It kind of delves a lot into Alfred's past.
Wait, what was it called?
It's the third standard size hardcover of the All-Star Batman run. It's called The First Ally.
I don't even think I was aware of it.
Yeah, because I think you just had the first two, right? And then you sold them. So the
No, I
first
didn't sell
two,
them. I still have them.
oh, you still have them. The third one's definitely my favorite, and
The First Ally.
it has art by Raphael Albuquerque, an American
Uh-huh.
vampire.
The
So
First Ally. Okay, where
that
am I writing that down to buy it?
here's no
Uh,
reason why you need to get Hoopla, Jess, because you can read on Hoopla and see if you even like it.
um, The First Ally. Yeah, I know. There's a lot of things I have to do.
Well, I'm telling you, you can read free comics. That's a
I know.
pretty good ask.
And is that by Snyder?
That is by Snyder, and we've already said on the show that All Star Batman is not one of his best Batman works, but I think The First Ally is by far the best out of those three hardcovers.
How did I not even hear of it? That's weird.
I think you probably just didn't like the first two, so you probably kind of tuned it out.
Just tuned it out. Yeah. Um, what refresh my memory and tell me who created Damian?
Grant Morrison.
Grant Morrison
He
in
created
his
him
run.
in Batman and Son.
Okay. That's right.
And
Okay.
so we are hopefully going to be talking about Grant Morrison's run in a month or so when we do Batman or Bat God, when we talk about which version of Batman we like better and the pros and cons to both. Like this version of Batman who's almost like a god, he knows everything, he has all these backup plans, he seems to be able to defeat anyone, versus a very humanized Batman like Tom King's version.
Yeah.
Or one of my favorite runs, which I think is overlooked, is Batman Earth 1 by Jeff Johns. I love those books.
Oh,
Have you
yeah.
read those?
Yeah.
And it
I
shows
need to
him.
reread them, though. I've only read them once, and I think I need to reread it.
It's like an alternate version of Bruce. It's more realistic, and it shows how he bumbles and messes up and how he needs to have like a helping hand. Like there's one scene in the first volume, or I think it was the second volume actually, when he's fighting the Riddler, when he's at a crime scene and he steps on some of the evidence, and Gordon says, "You're not a very good detective, are you?" Which is funny because we know in the main continuity he's the best detective in the world. But
Yeah.
it's to show how Batman's trying to learn and how he's trying to grow. So that's a version of Batman, whereas Grant Morrison is very much the Bat God.
Right.
And so his first arc was Batman and Son, where he introduces Damian Wayne to
Right.
continuity. And
Okay.
I think that Patrick Gleason and Tomasi were the first group to really humanize Damian and make him a really compelling character. I think that Grant Morrison did a good job in Batman and Robin, but I think Tomasi really shows the pain that Damian is going through. That Damian wants to be like his dad, but he doesn't think he can quite measure up. He doesn't really think he can get past the training that his mom put him through. And what I love about this book is that it really shows you the complex relationship between fathers and sons. So I don't know about you, Jess. When I was a little boy, I thought my dad was perfect and knew everything. And there comes to be a point when
Yes.
you're like 11 when you realize, oh, he's just a person like I am, and he doesn't always know what he's talking about. And you kind of start to distance yourself a little bit and become your own man. And you want to kind of figure out the world on your own.
Yeah,
And
that point for me happened when I was like 16 and I was devastated.
it really changes your relationship for a number of years, I think.
Yeah,
Until
it
you
really
start to,
upset me.
until you start to realize that's an unrealistic expectation to have. No one can be perfect. Everyone is flawed. Everyone makes mistakes, including our dads. And that's what's happening in this volume. Damian tells Bruce at one point, it was easier to respect you when you were dead. And that was whenever Bruce is floating throughout time.
Yeah,
And Damian was Robin to Dick Grayson. And he was
right.
saying, hey, it was easy to respect you when you weren't around. And because now he sees Bruce around and he's flawed, he's messed up, he makes mistakes. And Damian's like, I want to be even better than you are. But he doesn't think he can quite measure up to who Bruce is. And that just really impacted me because I remember feeling that way when I was younger. Like, oh, my dad's not perfect. I want to be even better than he is. And then you get older and realize my son's going to think the same thing about me. He's going to think that I make a lot of mistakes. I'm not perfect.
He texted me. He thinks it now. You've already got him texting it
Yeah.
at 2 weeks. That's pretty sharp for him.
And so this book is more even impactful for me. I read this first arc over the past weekend, and it's more impactful for me now that I have a son. And he's not talking or he's not really doing a lot right now. But
Except texting.
Yeah, except for texting. But even like looking at him and holding him, I'm just like, I want him to be better than I am. You know what I mean? I want him to be the best version of himself that he possibly can be. And that's what Bruce says to Damian. I want you to be the best version of yourself that you possibly can be. And that's what every parent should want. You shouldn't want to have a mini me who does all the same things that you do. It's like, no, I want you to be your own person, but I want you to be the best version that you possibly can be, which really just struck me in a deep way as I was reading this first arc over this past weekend. And so I'm not going to spoil what happens in this first arc, but it's really good because a mysterious figure shows up from Bruce Wayne's past, and he's a character named Nobody. And he thinks that Batman's methods are pointless and don't really help anybody. He thinks that he needs to kill people, to kill criminals, and dissolve them in acid to get them off the face of the earth. And he wants to poison Damian against Bruce. And that's Nobody right there in that mask. And he's trying to poison Damian's mind and say, hey, your dad, his mission is pointless. Join me, kill criminals. We'll make Gotham a better place. And I'm not going to spoil what happens, but I love this final line of dialogue in the final issue of that first arc. And I know, Jess, you're perfectly fine with Bruce killing people. And
that's actually changed.
Has it?
It just changed yesterday, as a matter of fact.
What happened?
I can't remember the name of the person, but he posted a thing from Dennis O'Neil and Jim Aparo on the page of the Omnibus Collectors page. It was an old Dennis O'Neil, Jim Aparo thing from probably the 80s. And it was a dialogue between the Joker and Batman. I will find it for you and send it to you.
Yeah, send it to me.
And it was the Joker saying, why don't you just kill me now and get it over with, end both of our miseries. And it was a brilliant summation from Batman on why he wouldn't kill Joker. It was several reasons why he wouldn't. I wish I could pull up the page right now, but it would take too much time from this broadcast. But it was a brilliant summation from Batman on why he wouldn't kill. It was like, because I hold all life sacred, I won't lower myself to be like you. It would defeat. I would become the person that everybody thinks I am anyway. But it was really eloquent, and Dennis O'Neil did a really good job on making it really eloquent and really heartfelt on why he wouldn't kill. And I read it and I said, I get it.
Yeah,
I totally get it now, and I don't want him to kill.
That's awesome.
I think in the back of my mind, here's the real reason I want all these villains dead, is because I've been reading them for 55 years and I'm sick of them.
I get that, yeah.
Yeah, I've been reading the Joker for 55 years and he's been around for 80 years. And I'm just like, but then once he's dead, somebody else is just going to come and take his place. And
right.
But the Joker in particular just bothers me to no end. Just like I don't know. I'm looking around my room. Who's the Marvel equivalent that bugs me to no end?
Yeah, who bothers me sometimes is Daredevil and Bullseye, where Bullseye's killed two of his girlfriends, and he's like, whatever. You know what I mean? He killed Karen Page and he killed Elektra, and it's like, why don't you kill him at this point? But Daredevil's another example of someone who won't cross that line. And Daredevil's my second favorite character.
Yeah.
So obviously, I really enjoy characters who won't cross that line. But the main thing we have to realize with Batman, I get that frustration, but he's not a real character. He's aspirational. He's supposed to motivate us to do our best to be a hero and to value human life. And that's why I like it so much. But also, one of my favorite characters is also the Punisher. So I don't mind having characters that go out and kill. But what I love about Batman is that he says there's always another way. There's always a way besides violence. He does use violence, but lethal violence.
Right.
He's willing to find a way to not cross that line, which I really appreciate. And so I'm glad you changed your opinion on that. That's really cool.
It was that one panel yesterday on the page.
Well, I'm going to read this line of dialogue from this book that maybe will even reinforce that for you. And Tomasi's dialogue is so amazing. I think one of the reasons why I like him the best, Snyder usually goes for your mind. Tomasi goes right for your heart, and he hits you right in the feels. He's able to really place like a finger on the beating pulse of Batman and show us who he is. He's really able to tug at your heartstrings. So here's what he says to Damian about why he doesn't kill. I made a promise to myself and on the souls of my parents to live by certain principles, principles don't allow for exceptions, Damien. There's an old proverb that says, if you walk down a road of vengeance, then you should dig 2 graves, one for your enemy and one for yourself. You can't build a better world by killing criminals. It bankrupts your soul and societies by reinforcing the same cycle of violence. That is beautiful. That's a perfect summation of why Batman doesn't kill. You can't end killing with more killing, he says. It's going to start the same cycle of violence. And that was really a beautiful summation of who Bruce is. He says, I have these principles, and principles cannot be broken. And I think we all need to have principles that our lives are governed by. That, hey, these are these things, these are my lines in the sand I am not going to cross.
Yeah, I think that's tough for regular people to have lines in the sand they're not willing to cross, because I feel like as a person, I'm fudging those lines sometimes. I do feel like I fudge lines here and there. I feel like I aspire to be a nice guy, an honest guy, an ethical guy. That's my line in the sand, but I feel like I do. Sometimes I cross that line here and there, and other times I hold fast to it.
Yeah.
But of course, I do hold fast to the line that I won't kill anybody. So,
yeah, hopefully.
So far, at 60 years old, I've held fast to that line.
There you go.
I just haven't really had the opportunity yet, and I don't think I would. That's a scary thing to try and think about, killing someone. To actually have the power to kill someone. This is a whole different conversation, but
I get what you're saying about having those lines and how we can fudge them, how we're human, we make mistakes, we're not always who we want to be. But again, this book is aspirational. These books are aspirational.
Right.
And it's saying, okay, who do you want to be? What do you do to get there? What principles do you need to set up in your life that you won't break? I think it's important for everybody to be the person that you want to be. You know, what are some things I'm not going to do? What are some things I'm definitely going to do? Do you know what I mean? I think it's important to have those principles, like Bruce said, that you don't have exceptions for.
Okay, here's a line in the sand. I'm never letting Omar touch my figures again. He's not coming into my Batcave ever again and touching my figures. That's a line.
Dropping your album or whatever.
Yeah, flipping my albums over and knocking over action figures. No, Omar's not allowed in the Batcave ever again. That's my line in the sand.
I didn't expect us to get in that deep of a philosophical conversation, but that's great. And that ties back to what I said 2 videos ago. These books aren't just mere escapism. Even though they are escapism, they are entertainment. They can help us to understand our reality in a much better way. I truly believe that reading Batman comics makes me a better person. And I think these books help you to think about these questions that are difficult, that you don't want to face. We don't want to think, hey, am I really being the person that I want to be? We want to shove that down and not think about it.
Right.
But good writers can entertain you and make you face these things that you don't want to face, which I think is really good. And it's really helpful.
Awesome. That's an excellent thought.
I really love this first arc. I've been talking about this a lot, but there's still other good stuff in here. There's the second arc, which is called Pearl. And I love this final page. And I don't really want to ruin the story, but I don't think this is going to ruin it very much. Let me open these blinds. It's going to
I was going to say, you've got dots on your face.
Yeah, sorry.
You've got worse dots on your face.
Oh, come on. Stupid. Let me try something else here. Sorry. I'm in my office, and it's early in the morning, so the sun's starting. Is that better?
Yeah, much better. Much better.
And so Bruce is really frustrated with Damien at this point in the run. And he's like, I just don't know if you're going to change. I don't know if you care about anybody. And they were in the sewer earlier on in the story. And Damien just opens up his hand and puts a pearl down. And it's Bruce's mother's pearl that he found in the sewer. And he says, Damien, I'm so proud of you. He hugs him. That is a beautiful page.
There you go. Just a sec. Let me get it close. There you go.
I just love that.
That is beautiful.
Where at this run, Bruce is like, I'm so frustrated. I just don't think you're going to be the person that I want you to be. And Damien says, I do care about you. Don't give up on me. That was such a beautiful moment. And like I said, Tomasi is great at tugging at your heartstrings. And he's really great at hitting you in the feels. And it makes you want to cry. So there's Pearl, Born to Kill, There is Death of the Family, A Requiem for Damien, Volume 5 with Burn, and this is about the New 52's origin of Two-Face, which I really enjoyed. There's The Hunt for Robin, and then there's Robin Rises. So I collected these books very early on in my collecting days. I have the trades and the hardcovers, but the omnibus for Batman and Robin is being reprinted this month, right, Jess?
Yes,
And I believe that you have the omnibus. Is that correct?
I do.
Do you have it with you? Show off,
I can get it. Yeah, just a sec. It's right down.
And
Oh
so,
no, I moved it to the Batman section,
no
which is
problem.
across the street,
No worries.
across
But
my
you might want to get the
Batcave
omnibus
street.
instead of these hardcovers and standard size trades, because the Omni contains 3 issues that are not in these books right here. Because Tomasi did write Batman and Robin for a little bit before the New 52, and they did include those 3 issues in the omnibus. So that might sway you towards buying the Omni.
Yeah,
But
the Omni's great.
I'm perfectly fine with these hardcovers and trades because I'm not a big fan of massive Omnis, which Batman and Robin is.
It is big.
I just don't enjoy it as much, and some people love that. So if you want to have a big omnibus of this run, definitely pick it up. It's going to be reprinted this month, so this is a great time for you to pick it up. But this run is phenomenal. Sorry, I've been talking about it for so long. I just love
You've
it
been
so
giving
much.
us a.
Sorry about that.
You can be assured that I am not going to be talking that long about my books.
I just think this run, like I said, this one really impacted me with the birth of my son, and it made me
Yeah.
really evaluate the relationships between fathers and sons. And I think it just hit me in a different way. And this run just goes all over the world. It goes to Apocalypse, where Batman stands toe-to-toe with Darkseid, and one of my favorite Batman moments.
Oh,
This
yeah.
run is phenomenal. And I think that first arc, Born to Kill, is up there with Endgame, with Court of Owls, with Death of the Family. I love that first arc when Damian and Bruce fight against Nobody, that character I was telling you about. So if you haven't read this, please pick it up. I would encourage you to read it concurrently or after Snyder's run, because it's definitely tied into that run at certain points. Like it ties into Court of Owls, Night of Owls,
Yeah.
Death of the Family. So you'll be somewhat confused if you haven't read Snyder's run. So I would encourage you, if you haven't, read it concurrently with Snyder's run or immediately after. And there's also a big event in Batman Incorporated that really affects this run. And I don't want to spoil it, even though most of you know what I'm talking about. It happens 18 issues into this run. And so I would encourage you to also read Batman Incorporated to really get that full weight of what happens. I've been talking for a very long time, so Jess is going to give us his first choice.
I'll give you 10 seconds on each of my books.
Jess can do all these videos I get every 2 weeks. I have a lot to say.
Well, that's probably true. The first one that comes to mind is I had this custom bound, and there's 2 series of hers, but I just grabbed this one. This is the Batwoman omnibus I had custom bound. This is the Greg Rucka, J.H. Williams. This is her whole run. This is pre-New 52. This is all of, so it's got, since it's from my comic books, it has the ads in it, but I just wanted to have the whole thing done, and it's in a hardcover. It's got her fighting, I think it's Alice, in it, and it is this Batwoman. First of all, this is the best Batwoman I've ever read. It's got the best.
I love seeing the Got Milk ads.
So yeah, I know, with Danica Patrick. I know.
I miss the Got Milk ads.
It's got one of the better villains. She quotes Lewis Carroll, and she's sort of known as Crazy Alice. And gosh darn it, I'd like to get a page where I could. Here we go. Here's a page without an ad. Now, this is Greg Rucka writing top Greg Rucka stuff. Kate Kane is battling with herself over her identity as she can. This is her finding out things about her family. Uh, okay, this is why I'm thinking about. Um, it's got. It's also got the question in it as a backup, so that's why
Have
you're
you
going to
heard
see.
about that new question series that's coming out, Jess?
I have not.
Jeff Lemire is writing a question book for Black Label.
Ooh.
You're gonna love that.
So Alice has something that she knows about Batwoman, and Batwoman doesn't know just how close she actually is to Alice. And this is super well written. And of course, it's got J.H. Williams art, which is some of the best art on the planet. And it is just brilliant. It's got some of the most electric characters in it. The way it portrays Batwoman, it deals with her past, what happened in military academy, the military, why she was forced to drop out. Okay, wait, this is the question. This is frustrating, and this is why I might consider getting the Batwoman omnibus when it really comes out.
Yeah, that comes out next June, I think.
Yeah, and I think I might get that. That contains the J.H. Williams run too, right?
Yes, it does. And so when you're talking about the question here, is that the original question or is this
This is the Renee Montoya
okay,
question that was a backup feature in
that's
all
what I thought.
the Batwoman things. So this this deals with. Okay, wait. Let me get rid of the. Let me get rid of the question that I keep running into. So this is an extremely well done Batwoman story that has a shocking surprise ending that I thought was brilliant by Greg Rucka, and it is really well done, really exciting, really fun. This was Batwoman, and it's coming out in omnibus format with my other favorite Batwoman book, and that's by J.H. Williams, who did the writing for the Batwoman run that followed up right after this. Unfortunately, of course, everybody knows, if you know your Batwoman, that got stopped like dead in its tracks because he was going to have Kate Kane marry. And at the time, DC, of course, said, we don't want any marriage to happen. Even Lois, it wasn't a gay thing. It was even Lois Lane couldn't marry Clark Kent. And J.H. Williams said, well, that stops my story. So I'm just walking off the book. And so it stops the story right there, and you're left with nothing. And unfortunately, Mark Andreyko didn't quite have the chops to keep the story going. What you get with J.H. Williams is still a really good story until the sort of dead ending. And looking through this now, I just personally, I'm frustrated with the ads and the question backup. So I'm definitely getting the Batwoman omnibus when it comes out because it's also oversized. And I have the standard hardcovers for the Batwoman that J.H. Williams did. So I'm definitely going to get that. This was fun to have, custom bound. It's all the issues that Greg Rucka did. Batwoman is one of my favorite Bat family characters. She's so different from the Batwoman I grew up with, who was Kathy Kane and had the dorkiest outfit in the 50s. Well, everything about the 50s was dorky. I'm amazed that what growing up with what I grew up with, I've seen so many changes with Batman and with comics in general. I want to assure everyone out there that you are now living, as of right now, 2019, you are now living in the true golden age of comics. I
I agree.
just take it from personal experience as somebody that's read everything from the 40s on up. You are so fortunate to be reading. You have so much choice. And Batman, written as well as he's written, you've got the James Tynion detective. Now you've got the Peter J. Tomasi mythology detective. You've got Batman by Snyder, followed up by Tom King,
Warren Ellis is writing a Batman book right now with Brian Hitch.
which
Batman the
is
Grave.
which which is unbelievable. Warren Ellis, one of the, if he's not the, I think he's one of the greatest writers of comic books. And his body of work, I think his body of work stacks up. I'm going to say this because his body of work stacks up better against Alan Moore's than anybody's, because he has an enormously consistent body of work, whereas Alan Moore has, I am not going to try and say that Alan Moore hasn't written things that have changed the comic genre, because he has. He has major um, things that have changed the genre. Um, but he's only written a handful of things. This is like what my argument is with Frank Miller. They've written a couple of 2, 3, 4 awesome things, but Warren Ellis has written, and wait, how did I get from Batwoman to Warren Ellis? But Warren Ellis has a huge slew of amazing books. The only problem with Warren Ellis is he genuinely can't finish things.
Yeah.
Like, I'm waiting for Trees to get finished.
He is going back to Trees, though. That's being redone right now.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, they are releasing Trees. I did see that recently because that's going to be a TV show.
Trees is?
Yeah, so I think that kind of pushed him to finish it.
Ah, okay. Well, I like the sound of that.
And I'm still have the dots on my face. I can't stop it. It's just how it is.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's fine. It's not like you're on CBS right now, so
That's
we're
true.
okay.
Yeah, Trees should be getting a TV show pretty soon, I think.
And there's some other book that he didn't finish that I can't think of what it is. He does have trouble finishing things, but what he finishes is awesome. Like, I definitely want to see Injection completed.
It took him a while to finish Planetary.
Oh yeah, that was famous for being late.
He did finally finish it. That took him forever, though.
That took years to finish.
And it was funny to see how much better of an artist that Cassaday was. It was like night and day from that first issue. I mean, he was still good back then, but he got so much better. It was kind of cool to see him get better and better. And Global Frequency is great, but I wish it was longer. I wish he could have done more with that.
Yeah.
I think Warren Ellis, I think he has so many ideas, he doesn't want to stick with one idea too long.
Yeah, you might be
right. He's so brilliant, he gets bored. But I'm really excited about the 4th volume of Wildstorm coming out today. Well,
yes.
Because we're filming this on a Tuesday, even though this is coming out on Saturday. So it's coming out, and
you just blew the whole.
I'm sorry.
The whole illusion of our doing it on a Saturday.
It's these dang dots; they're messing me up. The lights in my eyes. I'm being disoriented. I'm used to filming in the afternoon. I'm not used to this daylight.
Well, that's true. He did do 4 volumes of Wildstorm, and that is a brilliant book. The 4 volumes of Wildstorm.
That might be my favorite thing he's written. That was so good.
That's a super duper reboot of Planetary. But anyway, getting back to Batwoman, I haven't heard good things about the TV show, which doesn't change my opinion of Batwoman being my favorite extracurricular Batman character. I don't know what it is about her, but I just really love how she's just out on the periphery, and I love the fact that James Tynion's Detective, I saw him at Awesome Con, not this year, but in 2018. And I said, I love your Detective. And he said, it's so great. It's like my own X-Men. I get to do whatever I want with all these characters. DC's, and this is amazing, he said this, DC's giving me free reign to do whatever I want with all these characters. And it's like my own X-Men. And I said, it's more like the greatest Batwoman book. And he said, I love writing Batwoman. It's really great. And so I really like it. She's like really mature. She still makes mistakes, but I love the complicated relationship she has with her father. And I still love Batwoman the most. I still have some other characters here that I love. But Batwoman has a special place in my heart, and I'm not going to watch the TV show just because I don't want to see what TV thinks of her and her personified. Normally I would, but I'm not going to sit through 22 episodes just to see what they think of her. I'm not doing that.
And we were texting earlier this week, and I told you I'm kind of giving up on CW shows. It's just too much to keep up with. It's just way too much TV to watch. It's just there's like four now. Is there 5 shows now? There's 5 shows now. I can't watch 5 22-episode seasons. I just don't have that kind of time. I really don't.
If this happened when I was 13 years old, this would have been, I can't even tell you how excited I would have been. But there's so much now. I mean, I still have to watch The Boys. I got to watch.
Oh, that was so good.
I know I haven't seen it yet. I got to watch Watchmen. I need to watch Batman the Animated Series. There's so much stuff I need to watch. I still haven't finished Umbrella Academy. So, I mean, and I'm like you. My primary focus really is to read. That's what I do with all my extra time is to read, and that's really what I really want to do is just read. So, so in the since you went on for 78 minutes, let me get in an extra book here that I like. This is one of my favorite runs, and I don't really remember people talking about it that much, but there wasn't that much internet message board. I really didn't get into talking on the internet really until the Facebook group. So I just remember really liking it when I read it, and I got the hardbacks when they came out. And I think it's most notable for its Adam Hughes cover, and that's Gail Simone's Batgirl. This is kind of an iconic cover, and I should have taken it with me to Baltimore to have him sign. I felt the art is really good, and I felt Gail Simone did a really good job of getting Barbara Gordon back on her feet after her operation that got her mobile again, making her very fragile and vulnerable, still wanting to kick ass, but being very careful about it, very humanized, still very wanting to take on the world, but being very careful about it. I think Gail Simone did a really good job making it sort of realistic that she's coming back from a major operation and not being able to walk for what they said was 3 years, which was, not quite what the case was in real time. But I think the colors in this book are really gorgeous too. And so Gail Simone's one of my favorite writers. So I was really excited to see that she was doing Batgirl. So I felt the whole run was done really well. I enjoyed the little back and forth she had with Nightwing here. And I'm the exact opposite of you. I have not read much Nightwing. I have all of Nightwing, but I haven't read any of it. I don't know why. I know it's all good. I've read Grayson. That's not Nightwing, but I've read Grayson and I really liked it. I know you didn't, but I just haven't gotten into Nightwing because I always consider him Robin. and of course that's my age.
Yeah, I think that's the age difference here. I'm
Yeah,
29, and you're 60, right?
60. Yeah,
So I think I think you're so used to seeing Robin as Dick Grayson, whereas I'm used to seeing him as Nightwing.
yeah.
Because I mean, he became Nightwing in the 80s, correct?
I guess so.
I wasn't born until 1990, so I'm pretty sure he's always been Nightwing in my lifetime.
Right. So I can see that. But I really liked Gail Simone's the volume 2's upstairs, but here's volume 3. I was looking through volume 2. And I really liked, I don't mind, I don't know. I know there's a sort of a anti-standard hardcover feeling. You know, people say oversized hardcover or nothing, but I don't mind that DC puts out these standard hardcovers, because I like just any hardcovers at all.
They're
Better,
still nice.
yeah, better these than just trade paperbacks. I'm really happy with these. So I liked Gail Simone's run on these. They all didn't keep the same artist throughout them, but the art was good throughout, and she kept getting better and better and tougher and tougher. Um, and I really found myself caring for her as a person, and I think that was due to the vulnerability that Gail Simone gave her in the very beginning. I was rooting for her. I don't know what people think of this, because I don't really remember people talking about it. They might not talk about it because they didn't like it. I don't know. I don't know, and I actually don't care, because I like it. So
As
that's
long as you
okay
like
with me.
it, who cares?
Sorry, yeah, I liked it, and I liked the hardcovers. I collected lots of New 52 hardcovers, and I people didn't like New 52 in general. There was like a towards the end, there was just this New 52 hatred, but I liked Superman slash Batman and Superman slash Wonder Woman, and I really and Justice League I really dug, and I can't say I was a big fan of the Flash. Green Lantern I was a fan of. Batman, of course, I was a fan of.
Because Green Lantern was just an extension of Jeff Johns' run. So
Yeah,
he kind of ignored the New 52 with Green
yeah, he just
Lantern.
kept going.
Batman
Uh,
Incorporated was still pretty good.
yeah, I thought there was a lot to like. I don't generally join the hate train for New 52, because that was when I was really getting back. I started really getting back into floppies back in 2008, where I just sort of dabbled here and there with graphic novels of certain sorts, but I really started getting in. And I think New 52, I don't know, when did New 52 start? I can't remember.
2011.
2011. Okay. And that's when I really got into it. I started buying floppies in 2008, but then when New 52 started, I really got into it. And then I got out of it when Convergence started. I was like, I don't want anything to do with this. I'm not into it. I can't take it.
I think New 52 was successful at first. It started to spoil after a couple years for people. I think they
Yeah,
had really strong teams at first, like Jeff Johns
right.
and Aquaman on Green Lantern.
Oh yeah, Aquaman was good.
Snyder and Capullo on Batman. I think people started to spoil with it after a couple years. So I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're in the minority in saying that the beginning of the 52 was excellent. I think it's more of like overall as it went on, people started to lose interest. I think people missed having the continuity of all those years of comics. And you should have to apologize for what you like. If you like it, who cares?
I don't think I apologized.
No, it's because you said it's not a popular opinion. It's like, who cares? As long as you like it, that's all that really matters.
Yeah. So I dig Batgirl, and one of the things that this video made me do is really want to read the Cassandra Cain and Stephanie Brown runs of Batgirl. I have not done that. I've got the volumes. I got them way back. They're easy to find now, but I had them when they were hard to find, and I really want to read them and get to know them much better. So that's a good thing this video series did, is I want to go back and read those now. Of course, this video series that you and I are doing has really amped me up to read more Batman, because I
Yeah.
thought I knew Batman, and every time you open your mouth, I'm like, oh, what? I don't. What's he talking about? I don't know Batman at all. God dang it!
But the funny thing is that you have all the books that I'm talking about. You just
I
haven't read them
do.
yet. That's
Of
a good
course I
thing.
do.
That's a good problem to have. The problem is whenever someone says something and you're like, crap, I don't have any of those books. I had to buy them all. At least you have them.
Yeah, I have them.
That's a good problem to have.
Yeah. Well,
Who's the artist on that Batgirl series? You said Adam Hughes does the covers, but who does the interiors? Do you know?
well, it changes on all the books.
Oh, that
The,
stinks.
the first one was Ardian Syaf. Then book two's upstairs, and book three, Death of the Family, is Daniel Samperi, and
Oh,
book
so that
four,
ties into Snyder's run as well.
right,
Okay. I think all the books did at that point.
right, and then book four is Fernando Pasarin, and I feel like the art was strong in all these, whereas I can't say that for not every series gets strong art, and I felt like even though the artist changed, Batgirl's art stayed strong throughout, even though the artist changed, which is actually pretty rare, I think.
That's really true.
Yeah, so I dug it.
I'll have to read that.
Batgirl, and I want to read Stephanie Brown and Cassandra Cain's runs.
Batgirl is definitely a character I haven't read enough of, so I should definitely read that.
Yeah.
So I promise for my next one, I'm not going to go long. I won't pontificate.
You were definitely speaking from the heart, so I don't think it's not a knock on you. You're passionate about it.
Well, I just know this next one won't be as long, even though I love it. And I talked about this before, but it bears repeating. Catwoman by Ed Brubaker. I love this book.
We will both talk about it because I also picked it.
All right, great. And I want to give Chris Hansen the shout out for sending me all 3 volumes for free. That was an amazing gift. Thank you so much for that, buddy. So we talked about this again. We talked about this a couple months ago, but this book is so amazing. We're going to talk about it again. And not Greg Rucka, Ed Brubaker is one of my favorite writers, and he's batting 1,000 for me because I haven't read Deadly Genesis. So I decided to stay away from that book because Jess hates it so much. Did you root beer that one? I can't remember.
Did I what?
Did you root beer that one?
I root beered it live with Kristen.
Oh, right. Okay. So,
but I don't blame Ed Brubaker for that one. I think editorial went to him and said, "Here's the plot, this stupid plot. Now write it and try and make it look good." And he was young in his career, and so he just followed editorial. So I'm not even blaming him for that. I poured root beer on Marvel, not Ed Brubaker.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, because Ed Brubaker, I've never read a book by him that I didn't like. I mean, The Fade Out, Fatale, Velvet, Criminal, Scene of the Crime, Incognito, Gotham Central, his Daredevil run, his Captain America run. He is one of the most impressive resumes of any writer. He might even be my favorite writer. My favorite writer changes on any given day, but it seems like today it's Ed Brubaker.
For me, it's Ed Brubaker.
I love him so much. And this run is Ed Brubaker at his noirish best.
Mm-hmm.
It's filled with heists, car chases, fistfights, and romance. And this series starts out with a miniseries by the late, great Darwin Cook.
Yeah.
I don't need to tell you much about Darwin Cook. You all know how amazing he is. It's sad that he's still not with us and creating amazing art. But he is just phenomenal in this first miniseries called Selina's Big Score.
Yeah.
Which I really enjoyed. But even though I love Darwin Cook, I love Cameron Stewart's art even more on this run. Because after Selina's Big Score, we jump into Ed Brubaker's run, and it has mostly Cameron Stewart art, who I think is phenomenal. And he's able just to capture these small character beats and also just show you these horrifying images of torture. I don't know if you remember those scenes, Jess, with Black Mask. Black Mask is terrifying in this run.
Black Mask really is terrifying.
He's pretty much just torturing people the entire run.
Yeah.
And he's really scary. Usually the Black Mask is pretty lame, in my opinion. But Ed Brubaker is able to really make him a terrifying villain for Catwoman. And in this run, I think Brubaker really makes Selina a very three-dimensional character, where I don't think she really was that before, to be honest. I think a lot of writers didn't really write her to the best of their ability, and they kind of made her a caricature and not a real person. And I think that Brubaker was able to show that Selina can be her own character that can hold her own monthly series, and that she's just as interesting as Bruce. And in this book, she's coming to a crossroads. Will she continue to be a criminal and just lean into her basic urges, or will she step up to be a hero for the downtrodden and the overlooked in the East End of Gotham City? And she decides, like, hey, I'm going to stop making life all about me, and I'm going to start helping other people, which is so great. And Selina is the main star of this book, obviously, but my favorite character in this run is Slam Bradley.
Slam Bradley, who used to be a backup for Superman in Action #1.
I'm trying to find his backup. He has a backup story in here. I'm trying to find out where it is. But I just love Slam Bradley. I think he is so interesting because Jess and I were just talking before we got on the live stream. We both love crime series, and I love PI stories, and he is like the epitome of a PI. He has a perpetual broken nose and hangover.
Yeah.
He's constantly getting into bar fights. He's constantly just getting into trouble. And he has an on-again, off-again romance with Selina Kyle. And the funny thing is that he knows that she's better than him. He knows that he doesn't deserve her, but he can't help but fall in love with her.
Yeah.
And it also has her best friend, Holly, who has a big role in Tom King's run as well. But I think she's much more interesting in this run. And she actually has her own character arc and her own storyline, which I really enjoyed. And so I think this book is something you definitely need to pick up. The hard thing is that the second volume is kind of hard to find.
This one.
And you can really only find on the secondary market on Amazon or on eBay. So I think it probably goes for $50. Isn't that what we decided last time, Jess? Is that what we found out? I think?
Yeah, it's $25 cover. And this used to be my specialty when I was out really hunting for books. I would find these in like all the time and sell them for cover on the Omnibus Collectors page. I would just find these everywhere, but it seems to be getting, and Cameron Stewart is the artist on all these, and this is where Black Mask really does some torturing.
Oh, yeah. See if I find a picture from torturing. Oh, here's one. Yeah, you see the viewpoint from someone's mouth. So yeah, that's definitely some gruesome scenes in this book for sure.
Yeah, but I think if you hunt eBay enough and you're patient, I think you can find it for a reasonable price, like $35.
I would encourage you to go to your local comic book store or just check out a couple of them. I bet there would be one. I mean, if you have a couple comic book stores, just shop around. You might be able to find it for cover.
I agree with that because I think Catwoman gets ignored.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's unfair, but she gets ignored. And I think you'd be surprised how many stores you can get if you're going on a road trip to Disney World or something. Just stop off along the way at someplace in Georgia or something, or wherever you're going, and just stop off. And I bet you'll find it in some out of the way comic store because she collects dust, these volume 2s. That's how I found them all. And I think that, I mean, certainly don't go on Amazon and pay $60 for it. No. But I think if you're careful, you could find it for a good price on eBay, or as Taylor was saying, check a comic shop, and you'd be surprised how easy it is to find these, because you want to get these 2 books. They are so good. Taylor's exactly right. Ed Brubaker just has, he's such a great crime. I don't know that anybody writes crime, unless it's Greg Rucka, that anybody, and Gotham Central is the perfect book for both those guys, that writes crime and Catwoman as well as Ed Brubaker. This was, I mean, I think these books are a gift to comic readers.
I was so thankful that Chris sent me these books because they're so good. And in the interest of full disclosure, I read the first 2 volumes and they're a 10 out of 10. I'm kind of nervous to dip into the 3rd volume because I've heard it kind of dips in quality.
It does.
So I am going to read it, but I was like, oh, the first 2 were so perfect. I don't want to ruin it. You know what I mean? but
It
I'm still gonna finish it.
it dips, but it's not like a train wreck.
Right. I mean, yeah. So I'm gonna read it, but you know what I mean. I just it was so good. It was a 10 out of 10, perfect for me. And then I keep hearing, oh, it's not as good. So I'm like, oh, I don't want it to be
Don't read
a
it then.
mediocre ending. I still will. I know I need to. I really want
Yeah.
to finish it because there's still some dangling plot threads that I want to
Yeah,
finish out.
that's true.
I'm gonna read it. I was just kind of hesitant because of how amazing the first two were. And I listened to an interview by Ed Brubaker
Oh.
recently, or maybe it was I read it. He said that he was disappointed in the way it ended. He was
Oh.
saying it's just some editorial influence, some things with Cameron Stewart not being able to stay on the book. It was just a couple of different things that didn't come together the way he wanted it to be. And I even heard him and Greg Rucka do an interview years ago, and they both wanted to do a Gotham Central type book at Marvel. That would have been so cool. They wanted to do like a Shield book where these Shield agents
Oh, cool.
encounter different cases that the other superheroes are too big to take on themselves. That would have been so cool. I would love to see Rucka and Brubaker reboot Gotham Central.
Have editors ever done anything good at comic books? I read that Jeff Lemire was doing X-Men, his X-Men run recently that came out in trade paperback. And he said it was just a miserable experience, that he didn't get to write the X-Men book he wanted to at all because there was so much editorial interference that he couldn't write the book he wanted to at all. I just think editors suck.
Well, I just think it's really hard because if you've watched these videos for a number of months, you'll know that I don't like events. I don't like big crossovers. I like creators being left alone to do what they want to do.
Agree.
But one of the hard things about the big two is that they are interconnected universes. And so these books can't contradict each other too much. So I understand the predicament that editors are in. They did make sure that you're not making too many mistakes. You're not contradicting different books. It's a hard job. I get it. But that's why I think we need to do away with events. I just don't like events. I mean, the last event that I really enjoyed, which we talked about a month ago, was Dark Knight's Metal. And I think Snyder was left alone to do what he wanted to do.
I think you're right.
And I just think that events just are detrimental to comics. And it makes people annoyed having to buy all these different books. I think
Oh, yeah.
get a good creator. Get like Warren Ellis on a book. Let him do what he wants to do. Get Tom King in a book. Let him do what he wants to do. Get Ed Brubaker. Let him just do his Ed Brubaker thing. The biggest thing you can do for creators is let them loose, and obviously help rein them in if they're making for different reasons. But let them be who they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wasn't Metal kind of a self-contained event? I mean, it didn't.
It had different issues from Justice League and Green Lantern and some other
Oh, it
things.
did.
It wasn't too many.
Oh, for the Resistance.
Right, but it wasn't that many. It wasn't like a whole like line wide
Yeah.
crossover. Like I know War of the Realms is that way. Is very much like every book is influenced. I haven't read War
I've
of the
noticed that. I've got books stacking up on my table from War of the Realms.
I haven't read that yet, so I can't comment on it. But I just don't like that where I have to. I'm reading a run, it's so good, and all of a sudden it's like, oh great, a crossover issue. It's gonna mess up the flow of the story. Like the
Totally
Wolverine and the
agree.
X-Men, that gets messed up by so many crossovers. It's so annoying. That run is so amazing.
Which one?
Wolverine and the X-Men by Jason Aaron. I
Oh.
looked over at it on my shelf. It's so good, but it's so messed up by these different crossover events, like Avengers versus X, a Phoenix book. It's just too much. It's like let him do his own story.
Yeah. No, I can't disagree with you on that at all. And Marvel is famous for those stupid things. I think DC doesn't do those crossover events nearly as much.
And this is why I think I've been buying more indie books lately, like more Image books, more Boom books, like Dark Horse. It's just like you can just read them and enjoy them. You don't have to worry about crossovers and events.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you there. 100%.
So what we're saying is that Ed Brubaker's Catwoman run is phenomenal.
Yep.
And you need to get it, but the second volume is going to be a little bit of a challenge, but it's worth it to get it.
Yeah, and if you have to, just download it off of Comixology or maybe find it on Hoopla.
They're all on Hoopla, so you can read them there. And if you like it enough, you might say, "Hey, this is worth it for me to track it down."
Yeah.
Well, you want to go to our next pick?
This is my last pick.
Okay.
Is it your last pick?
I have two more, but I think
two more.
I'm sorry.
How'd you do that?
I told you what I was picking.
Yeah, and it was 4 books.
Yeah, I've only done 2 so far.
Oh, I
just talked about
you talked about your
Batman
first pick
Sons
for half an hour. Okay, you go.
Okay. I think we're gonna share the same last pick, Jess. It's the third pick, Super Sons.
I did not pick
Oh, you
that.
didn't pick Super Sons. Okay, so
I
Super
love it,
Sons.
but I didn't pick it.
So surprise, surprise! I picked another Tomasi book. I'm sorry.
And let me just say that he's the one that humanized Damien, I think.
Right. I think he
in
did
that
that
book.
first. Okay, I think he did it first in Batman and Robin. I think he
Okay.
continued that here. I think Tomasi must have sons because he knows exactly how boys interact. I think a lot of times writers are bad at writing children because they forget what it was like to be a kid. And a lot of times they're just unrealistic and untrue caricatures. And this run starts out with Damian Wayne and Jonathan Kent, who is Superman's son, just butting heads and hating each other. And it should come as no surprise they end up becoming friends and they end up forming this unbreakable bond. But these two boys couldn't be any more different. Damian is a hard-edged, streetwise kid, whereas Jonathan Kent is, what's the best way to describe him? He's naive and he's innocent. He just thinks the best of everyone.
Fun-loving.
And it starts out with amazing Patrick Gleason artwork. And as amazing as Patrick Gleason is, the really big pool of this run is Jorge Jimenez. He is crazy good. And I'm really excited to see what he does on Justice League by Scott Snyder. He's the main artist on that run. And Jess and I will be reviewing that Justice League hardcover that will come out in December.
Oh, we are?
Yeah, we'll do it eventually.
Okay, good.
So it's coming out in December, and we'll review that because we want to review his Justice League hardcover as well as what was that called? No Justice? Because you read that recently, didn't you?
I did read that. That was a metal spinoff, right?
Yes, it was.
I thought it was good. Yeah, right. I liked it.
And so the cool thing about this book is it shows you the true beauty and importance of friendship. How, we're all born into these blood-related families that we didn't pick, while friends are the family that you choose, and how important friends are to your life. And it really shows us in this run how much these two boys need each other to become the heroes they need to be. That Damian needs to be softened, but Jonathan Kent needs to be hardened. And kind of taught life isn't all rainbows and butterflies. It's hard, and you need to make difficult choices. And that's really important here because it's like the Batman-Superman relationship here. Because Batman is very realistic. He's even pessimistic. He has backup plans for his backup plans. He thinks the worst of everybody, while Superman thinks the best of everyone. And he thinks that the world is maybe much better than it is. He can be very naive. And so I think that this relationship kind of works out the way that Bruce and Clark's does. And Bruce and Clark both force Damian and Jonathan to be friends because they realize they both need each other and they both need to get past their differences. And the best way to describe this run is that it's a fun blockbuster popcorn comic book. It's like a blockbuster movie. It's a lot of fun. It's not super deep, but it doesn't need to be. I think it was just highly enjoyable, and I'm really excited to read the follow-up series, Adventures of the Super Sons, which I think you showed off recently, didn't you?
I bought the first trade from Tomasi at Baltimore. Yeah, I had him sign it.
And so the hard thing is that this omnibus is out of print, which is unfortunate. It went really quick because it was really popular and a lot of people love this run. But the good news is that you can pick it up in trade paperback. And I'm not sure how much it's really going for on the secondary market with the omnibus.
That's actually something I can look up really quick while you're talking.
And I definitely wouldn't wait for it to be reprinted because we all know DC doesn't really seem to have a strategy for these things.
Anything.
I think Marvel is better at reprinting stuff than DC is. So I would encourage you to read it on Hoopla, on Comixology, or to get the trade paperbacks. Or if you really want the Omni, track it down. I think you'll really enjoy it.
Okay, that's not good on Amazon. It's going for double. But let's see on eBay.
So it's going for 150.
Yeah, but let's see what it's going for on eBay. Super Sons Omnibus. Much better. Super Sons Omnibus, $99, free shipping.
Okay.
That's reasonable.
It's over cover, but it's not too bad because
there's 85.
The cover is 75.
Yeah, there's 85 on eBay.
I definitely wouldn't go over 100.
No, I wouldn't either. Here it is a lot of times. And let me see what it's sold for recently. 70, 80, 70, 46, 70.
Whoa.
Okay, eBay is your best bet.
Yeah, Amazon's the worst with the secondary market.
Yeah, forget Amazon. Try it on eBay and you'll get it for cover or just a little bit more, or maybe undercover if you're patient.
Do you ever wonder what some people are thinking, like selling a book for like $1,000? Like, do they really think they're going to get that?
On
Yeah,
Amazon,
on Amazon.
I'm not
What's the
sure
purpose
what
of that?
I'm not sure what the psychology is on Amazon. eBay is seems to be much more um, uh, realistic, I guess.
Right,
If I want to sell anything, I sell it on eBay, and I look at what the sold prices are, and I say, okay, this is what people are willing to pay.
right.
I'm not going to go on there with Super Sons and ask for $1,000 because nobody's going to pay that. If people are willing to pay $50 for Super Sons, and I need to sell Super Sons, that's I
Yeah.
mean, I'll put it on there and ask for $50.
Yeah, I don't think many millionaires are reading comic books, so I don't think we have that kind of money.
I don't know.
I can't
I don't
imagine
know.
a person who in my life who would pay $1,000 for a book. That's a lot of money.
I can't think of a single omnibus. I
You have to be like Richie Rich to be like $1,000, whatever. It's worth it. That's a lot of money. But I can understand double to make money, but any more than that's ridiculous to me. Even making someone pay double is still kind of jerky in my opinion. I get it.
to ask that.
I get it. It's we live in a capitalistic society.
Yeah,
I get it. But I like our omnibus group and the rules that we have set up. I
yeah.
think it's really nice to do that for people and just say, hey, I'm just going to charge you cover. I get wanting to make a lot of money. I get it, but there's some points where it's too unrealistic and too out there for me.
I think if I'm right, because I keep an eye on this just so I know what things are going for. I think right now the most expensive Omni, I believe, is the Colossal Conan. Um,
How
and
much does that go for
let me see.
on Amazon?
No, I don't pay attention to Amazon because nobody goes there to buy anything there.
That's true.
Nobody's going to pay that. I'm going to go to
I
I'm going to
went
go
to
to
Amazon just
eBay.
to see the Amazon prices for secondary market is $923
For what?
for Colossal Conan. I went on Amazon. Oh my
Okay.
god, that's the lowest price is $923 for secondary market on Amazon. That is insane. There's someone selling it for $2,000.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
who's gonna get that?
$500 it sold for Colossal Conan. Now let me see if I can find one sealed. Sealed in shrink wrap. Somebody had it up for $1,500, but best offer was accepted, so that doesn't tell me anything. Okay, regular. They're bundling it with other things. Okay, $800, but it wasn't sealed. Sealed 725, but best offer was accepted, so I can't tell you. A lot of what they're doing is they're bundling it with Colossal Conan, Conan the Cimmerian, and King Conan is what they're doing recently. So the fact that a sealed Colossal Conan is listed for 800 and best offer was accepted, probably $700 for a sealed Colossal Conan.
Wow.
That's real money.
Imagine how many other books you can get off IST for that. That's
$800?
insane. Imagine how many books you can get off just $800 you spend today. Imagine how many books would come to your house. That would be a probation pie haul.
Oh, that would so get me in trouble, probation pie wise. Oh my gosh.
I love that story.
It's been so long since I told that story. That was like 2017.
I've been watching since the beginning, so I remember all the stories.
If I ate the pie and then fell asleep and left the books out, and she discovered the books, and that's when I was put on probation, when she discovered the books,
I
because the
think that was
pie
when you
put me
first
to
started.
sleep.
I think that was when you first started on OmniBros. That was like one of your first appearances, I think. I can't remember. It was pretty early on.
It was actually a story I told in the Omnibus group.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny. But anyway,
You have
it's
a
your
good
money.
memory.
Thank you. It's your money. You can do with you can do with it as you please. But I think $1,000, that's insane. I think anything. I don't pay over cover personally. So that's my own personal thing. If you want to pay for it, that's up to you. But
Well, it makes me wonder if I should sell my sealed Colossal Conan. Do I?
are you going to read it? That's the
Yeah.
question.
Am I going to read? First of all, that thing's a pain in the butt to read. I mean, it's
Isn't that the biggest
this
Omni?
thick. Yeah.
Is it bigger than Sin City?
That I don't know. I used to have them both sitting next to each other, but now I have a Conan shelf.
I think those are the biggest books I've seen.
Same here. I don't know. Do I want $800? That could help me out down the road. I mean, I wouldn't even spend it. I probably need it for healthcare next year.
There you go.
Um,
That's a
but
big question to ask yourself. Am I going to read it? If you're not, just get rid of it.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, $800 is a lot of dosh.
That's a lot of money for sure. That might be something you want to think about.
Or Tyler Blunt would say, how many action figures could you get with $800?
How much of a storage unit could you fill with the action figures you would buy?
Holy smoke. That is a lot of money. But then I wouldn't have the book.
There you go. That's the decision you got to make.
Yeah. I mean, I have $800 already in a bank account.
You don't have, you only have one Colossal Conan.
That's right. That's a good point. Okay.
You want to get your last choice?
Yes.
What's
My
your
last
choice?
choice is how it all started for me with this girl. I did not pay much attention to her until I picked up like several different versions of issue number 1. This was the new 52 version of Harley.
Nice.
I was aware of her. But I did not particularly care for Killer Harley or Joker's girlfriend Harley, so I never really paid attention. So I never I just never paid attention to her. She I know she was introduced in Batman Adventures. Then she was then I know she's got the Carl Kessel series, Harley and Ivy. She was modified a little bit, but it was the Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Connor series that really made me love Harley Quinn. They took the Joker aspect out of her. She's all over the Joker. She's still got a little bit of an edge to her, but she's just a clown. She breaks the fourth wall. She moves into a Coney Island apartment where she somehow, I forget now, it's so long ago, inherits this Coney Island apartment building that's already got a bunch of goofballs that live in it, including just a bunch of crazy characters that I really like, that she immediately develops a fondness for. And they don't seem to question the fact that she's a white-faced, bikini-wearing clown. She also develops a taste for roller derby. She needs money, so during the day, she gets her act together and is a psychiatrist as Harleen Quinzel. Then she does roller derby at night. Then she is also a animal shelter for all kinds of dogs, so she's a do-gooder too. She's wacky and lovable and gets into all kinds of trouble that she talks her way out of, or somehow acts her way out of, or just goofballs her way out of. She is an absolute lovable goof that I think is great. She makes me laugh. She makes me feel good. I just totally dig the way Palmiotti and Connor wrote her. I just really fell in love with her and everything about her in Connor and Palmiotti's run. They just wrote these impossible, totally fun, lovable characters. She's got a burnt up, dead beaver or something that she talks to. She's got dachshunds. She's got hyenas. She lives above a she lives above a like a Madame Tussauds creep show type. What am I trying to say? Wax museum. There's also performing arts there. I don't know. It's just tons of fun. This was just a fun comic for me, and every comic that I read of Harley just made me really happy and made me look forward to the next one. And I really, really enjoyed this. She didn't break the fourth wall that much, but because some people compare to Deadpool breaking the fourth wall, but I really didn't feel like she broke the fourth wall all that much. Then she gets a gang of Harleys that she splits up and turns them into do-gooders. Of course, she still has the mallet. She does major damage in the roller derby. She eats like a pig and still maintains her figure, which is great because it's funny. So I don't know. I just love Harley Quinn. I've got 2 omnibuses, and then I've got the hardcover that came with it. I'm sorry. I've got the 3 hardcovers from Rebirth, so I didn't need to get the 3rd Omni. I have not read anything beyond Connor and Palmiotti's run, so I don't know what's going on with her. I have no idea if she's still as good or if she's worse. I like the idea of her going to Apocalypse, but I haven't read that because it hasn't been released, to my knowledge, in any kind of hardcover. But since Connor and Palmiotti are the ones that wrote it, I'm leery as to what has been done about it. Now, I also liked Gotham City Sirens. I don't think they needed to call it Harley Quinn and Gotham City Sirens, but I also like Batman, Harley and Ivy, Harley Quinn by Carl Kessel and Terry Dodson. That was good. Harley and Ivy meet Betty and Veronica. That was by Paul Dini. That was hilarious. I loved that. So there's lots of choice out there for Harley. I don't know. There's just something about her that makes me laugh and smile. As long as she's separated from the Joker and not in this Mr. J type pudding digging him. If she's separated from him, acting on her own, helping the animals, helping her friends, doing good, and being her own person, I really dig her. I'm not going to, if they have some story where she's fallen back in love with the Joker and the Joker's into her or something, I'm not going to be into it. That's not the Harley I like. So I am firmly in the camp of this Harley Quinn, and I have a lot of books that I can read of this particular Harley where she does her own thing. So if these new books of her being in Apocalypse or do something else aren't good, that's fine. I've got all these other books I can reread and read. So that's fine with me. The Carl Kessel books still need to be completed. That was a big run, and they need to be completed in hardcover. And they seem to be dedicated to doing that. So that's fine with me. I don't know. There's something about her that is really just fun and fun-loving, and that's why I read comics, because I like to have fun. And
that's why you should watch Batman the Animated Series, because that's where she showed up for the first time.
That's right. And that is an excellent point. And I like like the relationship. Tom King does a good job on the relationship with her and Ivy. I really like the loving, caring relationship she has with Ivy. Um, it seems genuine, and so it's not there for cheap thrills, or it's not there to make a statement. It just seems like a genuine relationship, and so I like it. It seems like bat the bat and the cat. It seems genuine. It seems organic. It seems to be real. And so um, now this is tangential to this, but the Birds of Prey preview looked awful because all it did was center on Harley, and I got no sense of any Birds of Prey plot or anything at all. I hope this doesn't affect how I feel about her in the books, but I'm hoping that the movie isn't that Harley centric, because I hope it has some kind of Birds of Prey. Since it's called Birds of Prey, I hope we actually see the Birds of Prey doing their Birds of Prey thing, because I want to see a Birds of Prey movie with some Harley in it. I don't want to see if it's a Harley movie, fine, just make it a Harley movie, but don't give me this Birds of Prey movie with a ton of Harley in it. I mean, that trailer was a disaster, I thought.
I agree. And Jess, if you love the Harley and Ivy relationship, they have several episodes featuring them in the animated series.
Oh, good.
There's even one called Harley and Ivy.
Nice.
So you'll really like that. And yeah, I agree with you. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago that trailer looks like a mess. And I'm not interested in the movie. I'll see how the reviews turn out. And I'm not the kind of person who will just go see a movie based on reviews, but if it has like a 5%, I'm not going to go see it.
I'll see it no matter what because of Harley, but I anticipate I'll probably be seeing it alone. But I still, I mean, I understand that I'll be disappointed, but I'll still go see it. But I understand that I'll probably be disappointed. But I don't know. That's too bad. I'm hoping for better.
Well, I'll go with my final choice for my favorite Batman family books. My last choice is Detective by James Tynion. And like Jess said, Tynion has said that this is like his X-Men series for the DC universe. And Batman definitely plays a backseat to the other characters in this run. It has Red Robin, it has Spoiler, Orphan, it has Batwoman, it has Azrael at some points, and it has Clayface. And that's right, I said Clayface. Clayface is probably one of my favorite characters in this run.
You should have said, that's right, I said Azrael.
Well, I don't want
what the heck? Yeah. What's he doing in that?
Yeah, I don't really like Azrael that much. Frankly, he wasn't in the run too much. But my standout characters for this run are Clayface and Kate Kane. Like you said, I love the Batwoman run by Greg Rucka, and I love Kate Kane as a character. And I love Clayface as a character in this run. He's not just a one-dimensional villain.
Right.
He is it's Basil Karlo, who was an actor until he became Clayface. And he just wants to be an actor. He wants to go back to who he was. And Batman recruits him and says, hey, do you want to be part of something bigger than yourself? Do you actually want to redeem yourself for all that you've done to Gotham City? Join this team that I'm forming. And it's just a great redemption arc for Clayface. And it's a heartbreaking one as well, as you'll see later on in the series. And I think Kate Kane also has a very satisfying character arc because Batman makes her the leader of this team. And she's struggling with being who Batman wants her to be and being her own woman. And she butts heads with Bruce about his methods and his ways of doing things. And she wants to be different than him. And Tim Drake also plays a big role in this series. This is probably the first series I've read that really features Tim Drake heavily, and especially later on in the series. And so I greatly enjoyed this book. I don't think I enjoyed some of the characters as much as the others. Like I said, I enjoyed Clayface. I loved Kate Kane. I thought Red Robin had some great storylines. I know you're excited to read the Stephanie Brown Batgirl stuff, but I didn't think she was that interesting in this book. They kind of made her like a pouty, whiny girlfriend. And she kind of just threw tantrums a lot and yelled and walked away, which I don't think is the best characterization. And Orphan was another character in this book who was really interesting, but I don't think she got enough screen time. Like, got enough page time, to be honest. I thought she was a really interesting character, but she was kind of underutilized. And so Tynion's detective run helped kick off the Rebirth line alongside Tom King's run. And I've heard a lot of people say that they like this detective run more than Tom King's run. I don't hold that opinion. I still think Tom King's run is more diverse, fresh, and original. But Tynion does a very good job in this series, and I really enjoy it. I think the first book is the best one by far. I think the second book kind of loses steam a little bit. It's probably my least favorite one. But in the third one, it starts to pick up steam again when it ties back into Red Robin, Tim Drake, and his story. And it really focuses on him as a character, and I greatly enjoyed that. So, again, this series is really good. It's not as good for me as Tom King's run, but it's a very solid entry into Batman. It really focuses on the dysfunctional family dynamics of Bruce's family. And I would encourage you to pick up this run. The best way to collect it is in these hardcovers. There's 4 deluxe hardcovers from DC. You could pick it up in trade paperback, but I would encourage you to do the hardcovers because DC has seemed to abandon this line of hardcovers, but this entire run is collected in these 4 hardcovers. So I would encourage you to get them off IST or Amazon. They are very fun. They're very original. I greatly enjoyed them. The art by Eddie Burrows, especially in the beginning, is amazing. You read the first one, didn't you, Jess?
Yeah, the first one's the one I've read.
His painterly style is look at this picture of Batwoman. That's amazing. I love his painterly style. It's really interesting. It's very unique. It's very original. The way he lays out panels is really cool as well. There's another artist, Alvaro Martinez, who's very good, but by far, Barrows is the standout artist on this run. So those are my choices for my favorite Bat family books.
All right. We did it.
We did. And I didn't talk for 25 minutes about
it. No worries. We love Batman. We love Batman comics. And so our passion sometimes takes over. So that's cool.
It does.
That's not a problem. That's a good thing. We love Batman and we love Batman comics. So what the heck? That's what the medium is for. It's to talk about how much we love Batman comics. So, for my co-host and myself, I say thank you for watching, and feel free to leave comments. Tell us what your top 4 Bat family comics are. We'd love to know. Leave them in the comments, and tell us why how much you love Harley Quinn. Don't bother leaving a comment if you don't like Harley Quinn. I don't want to hear any anti-Harley comments. That's ridiculous.
Positivity in the comments.
No. What's that?
Positivity in the comments.
Absolutely. Positivity. Just tell us your top 4 Bat family books. I'd be very interested to hear that, and I know Taylor would be too. So Thank you for tuning in and watching, and we love our viewers, so thank you very much. Peace and love, and I think I still have mascara in my eye from the other day.
What a way to